Hey guys, I was just sitting here wondering, at what point, at what level of disenchantment, at what level of being disillusioned and worried about the future, do we actually form a real dialogue about how we feel? I know that I'm not the only one feeling this way, but I've been at odds internally with things that I'm picking up on deep down, and they're quite disturbing and very, very infuriating. I'm um, I'm at odds with the cognitive dissonance that I'm forced to endure. It's as if everybody around me, they're following a different script than what I'm clued into. I'm clued into the actual real world, I feel like, and everybody else is just keeping up that surface level simulation of life that is just so normal. I guess it's a comforting thing for some people, but it's really disheartening to me to not see a more blended balance in this world. It tells me that those who are motivated and willing to speak and do some different things are targeted. That's just part of being a human being with actual feelings and emotions nowadays, means that there's some soulless piece of shit in the world who's targeting you. It's crazy to think, but internally we're dealing with like a battle royale, and it's like a cold war of the mind that's going to warm up and eventually become a holy war, like I figured a while ago. But as of right now, for the most part, all of the harm and things that we're experiencing are mostly deep down and subversive, but I can sense that it's starting to become out loud and real and quite horrifying and disturbing for many people. And those people who are experiencing the really bad effects from this type of torment and abuse, they're the ones who are the most censored, the most silenced, and the most covered up. You know, we're not typically going to hear their stories because they don't want to. And that makes sense. I mean, if you're committing this level of harm and doing it in such an imperceptible way, you're going to naturally want to cover it up. But I think we're going to reach that peak pretty soon where cover-ups are exposed, whistleblowers are prominent and prevalent, and we're entering a new phase of life. That's going to be tricky and hard for people who are not strong believers, who are not good people, who have done a lot of shady things that have aimed to cover them up. It's going to not be a good world for them, I believe. And that's why they keep playing along to uphold this illusion, so that way they can have their false normalcy to be a self-defense mechanism, basically. You know, it's astounding whenever I look at people that I know for a fact are shady snakes in the grass. When I look at their, like, for instance, their social media presence, it always paints a much different picture than who they really are. I think many of us on this planet who are of higher intelligence are being clued into the fact that this isn't normal and nobody is who they claim to be. It's quite perturbing, but like we're witnessing the facade become disassembled over time. But the odds are people like me, you know, we're just stuck around the wrong people who are either willfully ignorant or just completely stupid, who don't see it and never will. They don't have intuition, they don't have common sense, and they're guided by pure evil in many cases. And so it's crazy to think that the world is this way, but it truly is. And I think at some point in our lives, if things don't change or turn a direction in some kind of way, and we form dialogues and preemptively battle this thing in a productive way, then we're going to have a battle royale. It's going to be like Battlefield Earth at some point. I mean, this is quite literally an invasion of our minds and bodies from a third party who is guided, and these are literally entities that are guided by evil. They are not even human beings, in my humble opinion. They may resemble a human, but they don't have human emotions, and they certainly don't care about your well-being. And many times, the only way that these soulless voyeurs and these soulless pieces of shit can even feel anything is if they harm people. You know what I mean? They harvest their loosh, that's how they sustain themselves. They get off on getting that reaction out of people and harming them from a distance. But at the same time, these are pussies and cowards that probably wouldn't know what to say if you were to call them out. So, if you were to break out of this manipulative control and actually point to some problems, who knows what these reptilian people will really do. You know, they're wild cards, and they're emotional toddlers who can't stand being wrong. And they're always wrong, in my opinion. Many of them are just always wrong, and they're never going to admit it. But the powers that be, they want us to know that our environments are lacking and that the people around us are not trustworthy and that many of them have bad intentions. They want us to be actively aware of this while we're forced to, in many cases, even kiss their asses and like act completely normal with them. And it's starting to wear on me too, because there's many people in my midst that I could really give a shit about that I'm forced to be okay with, and it's starting to wear on me. I'm ready to go ahead and meet some people and break the wall